Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to talk about the Star Wars Battlefront February update. This has come with some cool new content. We got one new map that is basically going to offer a new Walker Assault game mode, new Turning Point game mode, a whole bunch of other game modes. But Walker Assault and Turning Point being two of the most popular right now. It's just nice to have another map in the rotation, giving the total map count for those types of game modes at 6 instead of 5, or the 4 that the game actually launched with. So the content is slowly coming out for Battlefront, making it feel more like a complete multiplayer shooter. Now the new map is called Twilight Hoth, which is something that I was pretty excited to see, because you're thinking, how are we going to show another Walker Assault on Hoth, right? They just attacked Echo Base. Well, this takes place at dusk or twilight, and it's a dark version of Hoth, and there's a big snowstorm blowing through the air and it obstructs vision. This map is totally different from the first Hoth map. It offers a lot of kind of wide open areas on the surface and then a lot of tunneling and cave areas down below, and they intertwine frequently to create a lot of situations where you could be running across the snowy plain and somebody pops out of a little foxhole somewhere and shoots you in the back. It's pretty interesting, and I have to say I enjoy the map a lot, and it's just nice to have the variety. I personally prefer playing it on the Turning Point game mode, and it's nice to see that DICE has embraced Turning Point as one of their game modes. I think they've seen how much fun it can be and how players are preferring some of the balance aspects of Turning Point over the sort of in-your-face heroes and AT-AT aspects of Walker Assaults. Both game modes have their merits, but if you're interested in something a little bit more strategic and balanced, then Turning Point is probably the game for you. And if you go into the map selection screen on Walker Assault and look at the different maps available, you will see that there's a grayed out 7th map there called Survivors of Endor, which looks like it takes place after they blow up the shield array on Endor, which, if you remember from the movie, was like this massive explosion in the forest. And so this map looks like it takes place after that, with burning trees and smoldering wreckage, and looks like it could completely change up the entire Endor environment. And this map will be coming out in March, which is nice. It'll be 7 total maps in the rotation for Walker Assault and Turning Point. However, that number of maps is something that I would have expected more in a base game, and we're already seeing the PC player base having dropped off pretty significantly since launch. I mean, that's pretty standard for pretty much any shooter out there. It's a question though if this added DLC down the line is going to bolster the player base and have it slowly grow again, or if it's too late for PC and if that player base is just going to kind of continue to dwindle until it's not there anymore. I hope it doesn't. I still really do enjoy this game, but having played it substantially now, I will say the lack of depth in terms of like how many classes you can have, how much there is to class customization and stuff, does kind of take a toll after a while. So perhaps the oversimplification of this game did stunt the skill gap more so than I originally thought. Then again, thinking about some of the DLC they have planned for this game once Cloud City comes out, I mean, I cannot wait to see what EA does with that. Also the Death Star expansion. There's some expansions that sound pretty freaking cool, so that could actually bring players back in a much larger way. And if they have a much stronger base game to sort of support a huge variety of gameplay at that point, it might actually keep people back and playing more and more. So it'll be interesting to see what the future of Battlefront holds. Now, this latest game update also added the new Endor outfit for Princess Leia. When you're playing on the Endor maps, now she has her authentic Endor outfit and she blends into the environment much more. So that could actually be a pretty big benefit because she has a very cool camo cape. It could actually be much more difficult to spot her out. And since she has a pretty substantial health pool, this could make her a new threat on the Endor maps. They've also added in a survival mission on the Ice Caves map, so if you like survival, then that's there. I think survival can be fun if you're playing with a good friend on comms and playing it on hard difficulty, but for the most part, I will say my main attractors to this game are Turning Point and Walker Assault, so anything else beyond that I'm just not as interested in. Now, there's also been a lot of balance changes in this latest patch. The patch previous made a huge amount of balance changes to really try and reduce some of the explosive spam and change up the star card powers. This balance patch here has actually bolstered a lot of the stuff that they nerfed before, not making it as good as it was before, but just bringing it back in line a little bit. Previously nerfed weapons that have seen a little bit of a bump are the bowcaster. If you stopped using the bowcaster because it totally sucked since last patch, well, it's a bit better now. You should actually be able to kill people. Barrage has had its damage increased ever so slightly and its cooldown adjusted so that you can use it a little bit more frequently. The homing shot lock-on time was a little bit crazy at 1.5 seconds. It's been reduced to 1.2 seconds to make it a little bit more usable, but not quite as amazing as it was prior to the previous patch. Ion torpedoes move faster and can turn sharper now, so they should be a bit better at hitting air vehicles. The pulse rifle, they're trying to differentiate the pulse rifle and the Tusken cycler rifle. So now when you're moving with the pulse rifle and aiming, your movement speed is decreased significantly. And the Tusken cycler rifle, you can still move around pretty quickly. So I guess cycler rifle is supposed to be more of a running gun weapon. Still won't be using that one over the pulse rifle, since the pulse rifle allows you to one-shot kill as long as you land a fully charged up shot, where the Tusken cycler rifle requires a headshot. And in my book, I just still don't see anybody really preferring the cycler rifle over the pulse rifle unless you're dealing with people behind a shield, which is certainly a practical use for it. A big change to fighter balance is that A-Wings have now had their hitboxes increased substantially to be more in line with like TIE Fighters and X-Wings, so they won't have that crazy advantage of just not being able to shoot the damn things. And frankly, there's been a whole bunch of other map changes, game mode changes, hero changes. A lot of them are pretty minor overall, but they're still significant, especially if you want to play the game as intensely as possible. It will pay to know what they've changed and what they've balanced out. And if you want to know more about that, there'll be a link in the video description. Now, before I go, I'd be interested to know in the comments if this kind of regular content coming out for the base game, not just DLC, but for everyone to play, is enticing enough to get you back in and playing the game more regularly, and what the game might be like once we have, like, say 8, 9, or even 10 basic big maps to play Walker, Assault, and Turning Point on. Would this then be a game that you would see yourself playing all the time? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching the video. I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing out.